Hi, today I wanted to share a story and a conversation I had with a recent client, and the conversation was around their roof, and they had a concern about the roof because their roof is nearing the end of its life, and they were wondering if they needed to replace the roof for the purpose of a sale, and so we had all those kind of conversations. Obviously, roofs are no small item to replace, so they had a legitimate question: Do we replace this roof before we put it on the market, or how does this work? So the conversation we had was really based around the financeability of the property. So, typically a property goes through at least two steps. The buyer has a home inspection, and the home inspector will get up on the roof and will inform the buyer of the condition of the roof and how much life they think is left in the roof and all that. And then the buyer and seller can negotiate based on those findings, and they can still come to an agreement as to moving forward. Maybe the seller gives them a bit of a credit or whatever it may be to put towards a new roof. But the bigger issue comes when the appraiser comes out. The buyer's lender will send out their appraiser to do an appraisal of the property. And one of the things that the functions of the appraiser is to be able to look for any items of concern before they lend on that home as collateral. And so if the appraiser is walking around and notates that the roof appears to be at the end of its life, the appraiser typically doesn't make the decision that it is at the end of its life. What the appraiser does is they throw the ball into the seller's court and says, "Hey, the roof looks questionable. I'm going to call for a roof certification from a licensed bonded roofing company," and then the burden then becomes that of the seller to then have the home checked by a licensed and bonded roofing company. And usually the standard is at least a 5-year roof certification. So the roofing company can say, "Hey, I will certify this roof for 5 years as long as I'm able to repair X, Y, and Z." And therefore, we feel that the roof could easily last 5 more years. Now, the roofing companies don't take this lightly because if they make this kind of a warranty or guarantee on the roof, then guess who gets the phone call in 3 years if it leaks? They do, and they have to come back out and fix it. So these roof certifications are usually given out by reputable companies that see that there's at least 5 years worth of life left on the roof, and they'll often call out things that may need to be done so that before they'll give that warranty or that guarantee. So if you have a questionable roof and you really want to be proactive, the thing to do would be to have a roofer come out and take a look at the roof prior to you listing the property, and then find out from that roofer if they're willing to give you a 5-year roof certification. If you have a 5-year roof certification in your hand, if this objection was to come up down the road, then you have a somewhat of a get out of jail free card. You have the ability to be able to say, "Hey, I've got this certification." That should suffice for the lender. And as long as buyer and seller agree in regards to the terms of the purchase and the purchase price, and that the buyer understands that the roof is nearing the end of its life and it will need to be replaced at some point in the near future, then everybody can proceed and close. But if the roof certification, if the roofer won't certify the roof, then you could be looking at having to put a new roof on a week or two before closing of the sale of your home because it's not a certifiable roof. So anyhow, the key to this whole process, if you're a seller, is to be proactive prior to listing your property, to get some of these questions answered in advance. And we try and cover these things in our pre-listing walkthroughs so that you have a sense of what could be coming so that you can prepare adequately in advance and not be caught by surprise with something last minute as you're in the midst of a move and all the rest. So anyhow, if you need any further help or want help with your upcoming sale of your property, if you're interested in having us do a pre-listing walkthrough and giving you some insight, obviously happy to do that. And best place to reach out to me to schedule that would be my cell phone. It's 206-949-3793. Talk to you soon.